It all began with a woman named Linda, beautiful, charming, and smart, but restless. She grew up poor and swore she would never taste hunger again. While her friends dreamed of love, Linda dreamed of luxury. And when she met Charles Benson, one of the city's richest businessmen, she saw her golden ticket. Charles was gentle, older, and lonely. He had lost his wife years ago and lived only for his work. When Linda smiled at him, he saw kindness. When she laughed, he saw hope. But what he didn't see was her plan. They married in a grand ceremony, gold decorations, white roses, cameras flashing everywhere. Everyone whispered how lucky Linda was. She smiled, pretending to be in love, but her heart beat only for his money. From the first week, she began to spend designer dresses, diamond jewelry, expensive parties. Charles never complained. He believed she deserved happiness. But behind closed doors, she grew colder. She ignored him, mocked his age, and called him boring. One evening, Charles asked her to join him for dinner. She rolled her eyes and said, "I'm busy, Charles." "Go eat with your business reports," he said softly. "I just wanted to talk." She snapped, "About what?" "Love. You bought me, remember?" Those words pierced his heart, but he stayed silent. What Linda didn't know was that Charles had built his empire from nothing. He had known hunger, betrayal, and greed. He recognized the signs and he waited. Months later, Charles invited her on a trip to a rural village where one of his foundations helped orphans. Linda hated the idea but agreed because there would be cameras. When they arrived, children ran toward Charles shouting "Daddy," and hugged him tightly. He smiled, handing out toys and food. Linda stood aside, disgusted by the dust on her shoes. One little girl handed her a flower and said, "Auntie, thank you for helping us." Linda froze. For a moment she saw something she hadn't felt in years, innocence. But she brushed it off. "Don't touch me, I just bought this dress," she muttered. That night the storm came. Their car broke down on the way back, and they were forced to stay in a small guest house with no light, no servants, no luxury. Linda complained nonstop. Charles sat quietly by the window. Finally he said, "Linda, do you love me at all?" She laughed bitterly. "Love? Charles, please, I love security." "That's what you offered." He nodded slowly. "Thank you for being honest." When they returned home the next day, everything looked the same. But something had changed. Charles stopped giving her money. He canceled her cards, cut down the staff, and stopped attending her events. When she asked why, he said calmly, "We're broke. I lost everything." Her heart dropped. "Broke? What do you mean broke?" He sighed. "The company collapsed. The bank seized my accounts. We may have to sell the house." She stared at him in disbelief. That night, she packed her bags and left without saying goodbye. Weeks passed. Charles was alone again. But deep down, he wasn't surprised. Meanwhile, Linda moved into a small apartment downtown. She tried to find another rich man, but the news had already spread. The billionaire's wife who ran away when the money was gone. No one wanted her. Soon, her designer bags were sold for food, her jewelry pawned for rent. The friends who once smiled at her disappeared. One morning, while walking to a cheap restaurant, she saw a familiar face. Charles, standing near a group of children, smiling, handing out food. He looked healthy, happy, alive. Her eyes widened. "Charles? You're not broke?" He turned to her gently. "No, Linda. I just needed to see if you were with me for love or for wealth." Tears filled her eyes. "So all of that was a test?" He nodded. "Yes. Because I once promised myself that if I ever found a woman who loved me truly, I'd give her everything. But you taught me something greater, that love bought with money dies the moment the money does." Linda fell to her knees, sobbing, "I'm sorry, Charles. Please forgive me." He helped her up. "I forgave you the day you left. But I also learned that peace is worth more than gold." She watched him walk away, surrounded by children who adored him, the same man she had once called boring. That night, Linda went home and looked at herself in the mirror. For the first time, she didn't see beauty or glamour. She saw emptiness. Years later, when people asked her why she never remarried, she always said, "Because I once married a rich man for money and lost a heart worth more than gold." And somewhere, in the quiet of his mansion, Charles would smile whenever he read her letters of apology. Never bitter, only grateful that life had given him the wisdom to know the difference between love and luxury. Because in the end, Money can buy comfort, but it can never buy conscience.